Aging does not begin in the wrinkles of the skin. It begins quietly in the conversations between our cells. Long before we feel weak, the body is already asking a question. Will you keep speaking my language? Movement, breath, and intention are that language. When we move, we send oxygen into tissues like a message of hope. Blood becomes a courier of renewal. Even gentle daily motion tells the nervous system we are still participating in life. Science shows that muscles are not just for strength. They are metabolic engines that protect the heart, the brain, and even our immune memory. Each step, each stretch is not exercise. It is communication with time itself. 2. Strength is often misunderstood in aging. It is not about lifting heavy things, but about preserving independence. When muscles contract, they release biochemical signals that slow cellular decay and sharpen insulin sensitivity. The body, in a beautiful feedback loop, rewards resistance with resilience. A chair squat, a wall push, a slow, controlled rise from the floor. These are not small acts. They are biological negotiations with gravity. And gravity, if respected, becomes our teacher. The human body grows wiser when it is gently challenged, and strength training becomes less about force and more about reminding the skeleton that it still has purpose. Inside the body, nothing happens in isolation. Every cell listens. Aging is often imagined as something that happens to us, but biologically it is something that happens within us, shaped by signals we send every day. Movement is one of the most powerful signals we have. When a person stands up, walks, stretches, or even shifts posture, the body interprets it as participation in life. Muscles contract, and with that contraction comes a cascade of communication. Blood begins to move with intention, carrying oxygen and nutrients into tissues that might otherwise fall silent. The heart adjusts its rhythm, the lungs deepen their exchange, and the nervous system recalibrates its awareness of the world. At a cellular level, movement awakens metabolism. Muscle is not just a structure for lifting objects. It is an endocrine organ that releases protective molecules when it works. These substances improve how the body manages sugar, reduce chronic inflammation, and support immune defense. Without motion, those systems grow confused. Cells become less responsive, energy production slows, and the body gradually forgets how to repair itself efficiently. Even gentle activity reintroduces order into that system. A slow walk becomes a biochemical conversation, reminding tissues that energy is meant to circulate, not stagnate. The brain listens closely to movement. Every step sends sensory data upward through nerves, informing the brain about balance, pressure, temperature, and position. This constant feedback keeps neural networks active and adaptable. When movement disappears, those networks fade from lack of use. But when the body moves, the brain responds by strengthening connections, increasing blood flow, and releasing growth factors that protect memory and mood. Motion becomes nourishment for thought itself. The act of standing tall or swinging the arms lightly can shape cognition as much as any mental exercise. Breathing also changes with motion. As the body moves, respiration deepens naturally, allowing more oxygen to reach the bloodstream. Oxygen is not only fuel for muscles, it sustains every organ, including the heart and brain. Better oxygen delivery improves cellular efficiency and reduces the strain that aging places on tissues. The body becomes more economical, wasting less energy and repairing more effectively. Even small movements restore this oxygen rhythm and keep internal systems synchronized. Emotion is woven into this biological language. When people remain still too long, the nervous system drifts toward caution and fatigue. Movement shifts that state toward curiosity and engagement. Hormones associated with stress decrease, while those linked to calm and motivation rise. The body begins to feel safe to function rather than merely survive. A simple habit like daily walking quietly tells the mind, we are still here, still capable, still exploring. That message influences posture, confidence, and even how pain is perceived. In aging, movement is no longer about performance. It becomes about relationship. Each motion renews trust between mind and body. The joints feel supported, circulation becomes fluent, and the internal environment remains dynamic instead of rigid. Movement is not an optional task added to life. It is life speaking to itself. Through motion, the body keeps asking for continuity, adaptability, and presence. And each time we answer with movement, the biological conversation continues forward. Strength in later life is often imagined as something dramatic, but biologically it is something quiet and deeply practical. It begins with the simple ability to rise from a chair, carry groceries, climb stairs, or steady the body when balance shifts. These actions seem ordinary, yet inside them lives a powerful biological purpose. When muscles are used against resistance, even light resistance, they awaken systems that protect the body from gradual decline. Without that challenge, muscle fibers shrink, bones lose density, and the nervous system becomes hesitant. Strength, then, is not about looking powerful, but about staying functionally alive within everyday motion. Each time a muscle contracts with intention, it sends chemical signals throughout the body. These signals improve how cells respond to insulin, how fats are metabolized, and how inflammation is regulated. Muscle becomes an active organ of communication rather than passive tissue. Aging bodies often struggle with energy management, but strength work reteaches cells how to use fuel efficiently. A slow squat, a wall push, a controlled step upward, these movements reshape the internal environment. They tell the body that structure still matters, that bones deserve reinforcement, and that connective tissues should remain elastic rather than fragile. Gravity plays a subtle role in this conversation. Every day the skeleton negotiates with gravity, deciding whether it should remain dense and supportive or gradually surrender its mass. When resistance is absent, bones receive little reason to stay strong. But when a person bears weight intentionally, the skeleton responds by renewing itself. Bone cells sense pressure and adapt, increasing stability and reducing fracture risk. Strength training becomes a respectful dialogue with gravity, teaching the body how to occupy space with confidence rather than caution. The nervous system also transforms through strength. To lift, press, or rise, the brain must coordinate timing, balance, and force. This process refines neural pathways, keeping them responsive and precise. Without it, movements become hesitant and reaction time fades. Without it, movements become hesitant and reaction time fades. Strength training reminds the brain how to command a body smoothly. It restores trust between intention and action, allowing the body to respond instead of react. That trust is what preserves independence more than any single exercise. Emotion is embedded in strength as well. When seniors feel capable of controlling their own movement, fear begins to loosen its grip. Competence grows not from theory, but from experience. Each successful motion becomes proof that the body is still cooperative. This reduces anxiety around falling, lifting, or navigating space. The psychological benefit is not separate from the physical one. Both evolve together. Strength becomes a form of reassurance, whispered through the muscles into the mind. Over time, these small acts accumulate. Resistance shapes posture, stabilizes joints, and preserves the dignity of self-care. Strength training in aging is not about dominating the body, but about partnering with it. It is the quiet discipline of reminding muscles and bones that they still belong in motion, still deserve challenge, still respond with resilience when they are gently invited to do so. Balance lives at the intersection between the body and the mind. It is not a single skill, but a conversation between the eyes, the inner ear, the muscles, and the brain. Every moment a person stands, tiny sensors in the feet report pressure, the joints report position, and the inner ear reports orientation. The brain gathers this information and decides how to keep the body upright in a constantly changing world. With age, this conversation grows quieter if it is not practiced. Signals arrive more slowly and responses hesitate. What once felt automatic begins to feel uncertain, not because the body is broken, but because the system has not been invited to stay curious. When someone practices balance, the nervous system wakes up. Standing on one foot, shifting weight slowly, or walking with attention sends a surge of sensory data into the brain. Neurons respond by strengthening their connections, refining timing, and increasing coordination between regions that manage movement and perception. The brain is not fixed in later life. It is adaptable when given reason. Balance training becomes mental training disguised as physical motion. Each adjustment teaches the brain how to predict, correct, and stabilize before danger appears. The inner ear plays a subtle yet powerful role. Inside it, fluid-filled structures detect motion and gravity. Over time, if they are not challenged, their sensitivity dulls. Gentle balance work stimulates these systems, improving spatial awareness and reducing dizziness. The body begins to feel where it is in space instead of guessing. This sense of orientation is what allows people to move with confidence rather than caution. It is not speed that prevents falls, but accuracy. Muscles also participate in balance by reacting quickly and precisely. Small stabilizing muscles around the ankles, hips, and core activate before large movements occur. If they are weak or slow, the body overcorrects, creating instability instead of control. Balance practice teaches these muscles to respond calmly and efficiently. Instead of panic, there is adjustment. Instead of stiffness, there is fluid correction. The body learns how to remain upright without tension. Emotion is intertwined with this process. Fear of falling changes how people move. It shortens steps, stiffens posture, and limits exploration. That restriction sends the nervous system into a protective mode that actually reduces coordination. When balance is trained gently and consistently, fear begins to dissolve. The body relearns trust. Each successful moment of stability rewrites expectation in the mind. Confidence grows not from thinking, but from feeling safe inside motion. Balance also connects to identity. Moving through space independently is a form of dignity. It allows people to engage with their environment rather than withdraw from it. The simple act of walking steadily across a room is a biological affirmation of presence. Balance training is not about perfection, but about maintaining dialogue between perception and action. It keeps the brain alert, the muscles responsive, and the individual emotionally anchored in their own physical world. Flexibility is the quiet intelligence of the body. It is not about extreme ranges of motion, but about how comfortably tissues allow movement to pass through them. Muscles, tendons, ligaments, and the thin web of connective tissue called fascia surround every structure. Over time, if these tissues are rarely moved through full, gentle ranges, they begin to thicken and dry. Water content decreases, circulation slows, and nerves become more sensitive to pressure. What people often call old age stiffness is usually a biological response to silence rather than years. When a person stretches slowly, the body responds in layers. Blood flow increases into the tissues, delivering oxygen and nutrients while removing waste products that accumulate with inactivity. Fascia becomes more hydrated and elastic, allowing muscles to slide instead of resist. Nerves that run through these tissues gain space, reducing the sharp, guarded sensations that limit motion. Stretching is less about pulling and more about restoring internal movement between structures that were meant to glide. The nervous system also reshapes itself during flexibility work. Muscles are protected by reflexes that tighten when they sense danger. With gentle, sustained stretching, those reflexes learn that the position is safe. The brain gradually reduces its defensive tone. This lowers overall muscle tension and calms the stress response. Heart rate steadies, breathing deepens, and the body shifts from protection into permission. Stretching becomes a neurological lesson in trust rather than force. Inflammation is influenced here as well. Limited movement allows inflammatory signals to linger in tissues. Stretching stimulates circulation and lymphatic flow, which helps clear these signals. Over time, this can reduce joint discomfort and improve tissue resilience. Flexibility is not simply about reach, but about internal health. A supple muscle is often a healthier muscle, better supplied with nutrients and better protected from injury. Emotion quietly participates. The way a body holds itself often reflects unspoken tension. Shoulders rise, hips tighten, the spine stiffens in response to stress, fear, or habit. Stretching invites awareness into those patterns. As the body opens, the mind follows. Many people notice that gentle flexibility work creates a sense of space not only in joints, but in thought. The nervous system interprets openness as safety. Safety allows curiosity, and curiosity allows movement to feel natural again. In aging, flexibility becomes a form of kindness rather than performance. It prepares the body for motion instead of demanding it. It keeps posture fluid, breathing free, and joints cooperative. Rather than fighting time, flexibility works with it, allowing tissues to adapt instead of resist. Each slow stretch becomes a quiet agreement with the body that movement should feel welcoming, not restricted, and that aging does not require rigidity when awareness and care remain active. Endurance is the story of continuity written inside the body. It is not about how fast someone moves, but about how long the body can sustain gentle effort without retreating into fatigue. When a person walks, swims, cycles, or performs any rhythmic activity, the heart begins a careful conversation with the muscles and the lungs. Each beat becomes more efficient, pushing blood with less strain while delivering more oxygen to working tissues. Over time, the heart muscle adapts, becoming stronger and calmer at rest. This adaptation is one of the most reliable protections against cardiovascular decline. As endurance develops, the lungs participate more fully. Breathing deepens and oxygen exchange improves in the tiny air sacs where life meets air. Better oxygen delivery allows cells to produce energy more cleanly and with less waste. Muscles become less dependent on emergency systems and more reliant on steady, sustainable metabolism. This reduces fatigue and increases the body's ability to remain active without stress. What feels like simple movement on the surface is actually a refinement of internal chemistry. The brain is nourished by endurance as much as the muscles. Increased circulation improves blood flow to neural tissue, delivering oxygen and glucose while removing metabolic debris. This supports memory, focus, and emotional stability. Rhythmic aerobic movement also stimulates the release of growth-supporting molecules in the brain, helping neurons remain flexible and connected. Many people notice that after sustained activity, the mind feels clearer and mood more balanced. Endurance quietly maintains the biological environment in which thought can thrive. Hormonal balance also shifts with consistent aerobic motion. Stress-related chemicals decrease, while those associated with calm, motivation, and well-being increase. The nervous system moves away from constant alertness and toward regulated engagement. The body learns how to work without panic. This matters deeply in aging, where fatigue and anxiety often reinforce each other. Endurance breaks that loop by teaching the body how to spend energy wisely and recover gracefully. There is also a philosophical dimension hidden inside endurance. Sustained movement cultivates patience. Each step becomes part of a rhythm rather than a demand. The person is no longer chasing performance, but participating in flow. This sense of continuity is emotionally grounding. It encourages consistency rather than intensity, presence rather than pressure. Endurance transforms exercise into a moving meditation where breath, motion, and awareness cooperate rather than compete. In later life, endurance is stewardship. It keeps the circulatory system fluent, the brain nourished, and the emotions regulated. It preserves the ability to engage with the world without exhaustion. The body does not ask for speed, it asks for rhythm. Through sustained, gentle activity, the human system continues learning how to adapt, remain responsive, and belong to the living pulse of motion that supports health across time.